Greetings, Guardians, and welcome to the Voice of the Vanguard. Today I have with me Sully from Sully Games. Say hello, Sully.
Hello, Guardians.
And today we have a special guest with us. Your name's Bill.
Yes,
but you have many names. You have Mr. Funny Man, and you also have Bill the Conqueror. I didn't know how to introduce you properly, so
that's okay. That's okay because when I first started my online presence and got on Discord, I chose that name, and then about a year ago, I decided to call myself Bill the Conqueror. So I had to go back and rebrand a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I know that.
And so some of this stuff, like, for example, you can't go back into your Discord setting and change your very first name. You can change your name in each of the servers that you're in, but you cannot change your first username. So
Really? Actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep, I tried. It didn't work.
Okay.
Oh well. So yeah, we usually ask our guests a few basic Destiny questions, such as what's your favorite raid in Destiny 1, Destiny 2, and just overall.
My favorite raid. So I never played Destiny 1. I never played it. I never played Destiny 1, and so I don't have that experience to draw from. But my favorite raid is the very first one that I ever finished, which is Leviathan. I finished that. The very first raid I ever completed. It was a ton of fun because I learned how to coordinate on the fly. I learned how to work as a team, how to cover for other people. The hardest part though is learning how each raid group refers to each of the encounters.
Oh,
Everybody, right? Everybody has their own lexicon. Everybody has, especially Last Wish. Everybody calls every one of those symbols something different, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But just learning the vernacular was fun. So yeah.
I always, whenever we do like a Garden of Salvation Sherpa, I always have to, when we get to the second encounter, I always have to tell people, hey, we go right where everybody else goes left, and everybody's like, oh, that's so weird. I was like, that's literally how we were, like, we watched the video and they told us to go right, and I was like, and it makes sense because it's like basically it's a diamond shape, it's a baseball diamond, so like you go first, second, third, and then home. So
right.
But yeah, right. I know how that is.
And that's one of the things that when you go from group to group to group, you have to figure out, is it a baseball diamond where you have home plate and you run down to first base and then second, third, and back around? Or do you start where you are and go to your left? Some people do it either way. Some people have different terms for
Yeah, I mean, they both work. It's just how we've done it, and I always say, like, this is how it's done. So it's how we do it. But no, I know that struggle of hopping in and out of raids. Luckily, I have a fairly good clan with some good raiders, so we typically always have the same call out, so I don't ever have to really worry about somebody calling something really weird. I'm just like, what?
Right, exactly.
And what's your favorite class to play?
My favorite class? So I started as a hunter. I shifted to warlock, but I do have to say that I enjoy running around, smashing my head into things. So I'm a Titan main. I prefer Arc Titan top tree. Okay. I've used center tree a couple of times. I like top tree because it has the extra grenade charge.
So what you're saying, Bill, is I picked a horrible guest to come on the podcast.
Shoulder charging Arc Titans. Yes, let's go.
So I will say this. I have played with Skullfort, and I've also played with the MK44 stand-asides. Especially in PvP, I like using the MK44s because when you're sprinting at full health, it gives you the overshield. So it's nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible for people to. It's nearly possible for people to get you across the map, which is one of the things that frustrates the crap out of me about PvPs. That I could be thinking, okay, I'm in a good spot and I'm running, and all of a sudden the guy that sees one pixel of my forehead from like 90 miles away hits me in the dome. I'm like, where the hell did that come from? So
that would be me.
Right, exactly. I mean, I don't mind it if I make a bad play or I'm in the wrong spot or I don't move the right direction. That's fine. I get that part. But if I'm just, doing what I'm supposed to do, making my cost my team, and I get domed for and I'm like, where the hell was that person? And and it shows the person, when you die, it shows their outline where they were standing. I'm like, how the hell did he see me? How? So go ahead.
No, you finish up, because I'm going to kind of backtrack a little bit with Ray,
okay.
But finish up your statement.
No, I just said I've used Skullfort. I prefer Skullfort in most situations. I found some utility in the stand-asides too. So.
Okay. Actually, I was about to ask you, do you have a day one raid team ready to go for the new raid?
I do not.
Are you not going to attempt it day one, or you just kind of want to sit back?
I've tried to get on a few teams. I've sent out some feelers. Nobody has responded, so I do not have a day one raid team. I would love to be able to get in with 5 other Guardians. And we work out the puzzles, and we think.
Okay.
So we work together as a group. So yeah.
I'm gonna make a channel in our Discord, and I think as of right now we have 2 teams filled. You could be an alternate, and we can start focusing on making a 3rd team.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure on what other Discord you're in terms of Destiny, but you can even bring some of those people around, so we can get as many people the opportunity for day one raid as possible.
Sounds great to me.
So going on to some favorite Destiny things. What's your favorite exotic? I'm interested to hear this.
Yeah, so okay. So I do appreciate Skullfort. I do appreciate a stand-aside. There's nothing quite, for me at least, there's nothing quite like a Mahectium, because not having to reload, at least for me, is a huge deal. I really like the perk auto-loading holster. For me, for me, if a weapon has demolitionist and I'm auto-loading holster, I will try to find a way to fit it into my loadout. Okay. Because I just found that so I use Actium specifically as a Void Titan. It just works really well for what I do. Okay. Now, as far as a weapon goes, that sort of depends on the day. So the very first exotic that I ever got in the game was Huckleberry. The very first exotic I ever got in D2 was Huckleberry. And so I love the crap out of that gun.
That's a really good exotic, to be honest. It doesn't receive enough love.
I agree, especially in Gambit. And as strange as this sounds, I actually like Gambit. I like the co-op competitive
I definitely did pick a horrible guess.
That's okay.
And Gambit lover.
And Gambit lover, exactly. I get that Gambit is broken. I get that PvP is broken. I get all that. I just enjoy that sort of you're racing alongside each other concept, and every once in a while someone jumps over. There's I've run with a lot of different groups, a lot of different clans, and if you can get four Guardians that know what they're doing and know how to communicate and know their timings, it's actually pretty fun.
Gambit is a lot of fun if you have a full team.
Exactly.
It really is.
Playing Gambit solo queue hurts my brain. Playing Gambit with friends is a ton of fun. That being said, so I found that at least when I was very early on in D2, I loved Huckleberry because I could clear red bars without even trying. I mean, so I sort of learned how to play too fast, and when I got away from Huckleberry, I had to adjust everything I did. But when I started playing with Huckleberry, I just realized I could move so quickly, and I could wind that thing up so fast. I could mow through red bars like that. It was a ton of fun. I loved it in PvE. I tried it in PvP a couple of times, but I don't aim that well. I'm more of a strategic mover versus somebody that has awesome aim, because I'm not. I can't aim to save my life in PvP. So I love that gun when I first started out. That being said, one of the very first exotic quests I ever finished was Mizunagi's Burden, and I loved that gun. I got that gun very, very, very early. It sort of went to it sort of went to being, everybody loved it. It was meta, and then it kind of dropped off a little bit. I think about the time that Bungie nerfed snipers.
Yeah.
But then I got the catalyst, and that sort of moved it back up to the top of the list. So I really like a Mizunagi's Burden. I like Wither Horde. It's sort of, for me, it depends on the situation. So if I'm in Gambit, or if I'm doing some sort of a situation where I have to clear a lot of ads at once, I'll use Wither Horde. But if we're in a fire team and we kind of work out roles, I like to snipe, because I'd like to, and this is probably one of the reasons I'm not very good at PvP, is that I'd like to kind of stand back and kind of observe movements, and then I'll pick certain targets to take out, so that the rest of my team can kind of move forward. So
you're a warlock in a Titan's body. Got it.
Well, okay, that being said, as far as Warlock goes, I think Chaos Reach is awesome. I love the concept of shooting a giant laser beam out of my hand. It's just, I'm just like, you know what? I love Center Tree Arc Warlock, because I feel like I'm a Super Saiyan. I can just float in the air and shoot people with a laser beam. So,
no, it's a lot of fun.
It is.
To finish it up, I mean, I guess this is maybe a little bit tougher for you. I mean, Kane probably, I think he had some issues with it too. But what's your best memory of Destiny? A lot of mine came like D1, but since you guys both kind of started off in D2, like, kind of interested to hear like what your guys' memories are. Well, I already know Kane, so Kane doesn't have to talk.
So for me,
unless he wants to.
You can talk for me.
Go ahead.
No, it's
okay.
No, Sully can talk for me. It's okay.
So my favorite Destiny 2 moment was the very, very first raid I ever did. Now, I didn't finish it, but my son got me into D2. He said, "Dad, you should download D2. It's free." This is back just before Forsaken dropped. So I got in about the Red War, which was kind of around early November 2017.
Yeah, that's when D2 launched, right? At least on PC, anyways. PC.
Yeah. PC.
Okay. So anyway, so my son said, "Dad, you need to download this." And like, oh, okay. So I downloaded, started playing. It's free to play. And then my son spent $70 of his own cash to buy me Forsaken, and that was awesome, because then I got into Forsaken. I really got into the story. But the very first raid I ever did, but didn't finish, was Last Wish. Okay. And my son invited me. He said, "Dad, I'm going to invite you to this raid team. 2 rules. 1, don't mention that you're my dad. And 2, you have to listen. Listen, don't talk, just listen." I go, "Okay, fair enough." So I got on this raid team, and I said, "Look, I just started, brand new to this raid." Fortunately, the guys in the raid were fantastic. I got up to, we got to the final step of Ashurochi, and I couldn't finish the raid because I actually had an appointment to do something else. And I said, "Look, I gotta go. I'm sorry." Fortunately, the entire fire team was cool people, and it was an awesome experience, and I learned so much. So yeah,
it's good. That's good. I'm happy to hear that, especially being like your first raid ever, getting into with a good group of people, because sometimes that can be a struggle.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my dad started off with D1 and got me into it. So with Destiny 2, I actually started really getting into it. And
we need to get your dad back into Destiny, to be honest.
He just doesn't play video games as much anymore. Like his hand, like he's at the point where his hands hurt, man, to play games.
Carpal tunnel.
I guess like after like years and years and years of playing games and working with his hands and stuff, so he's actually more getting into like playing guitars now. Like he has a rack of guitars.
Sounds like Mike.
Like he's got like this weird smart speaker that like plays music alongside him. It's like pretty cool. But yeah, he's doing other stuff at the moment, man.
I always enjoyed raiding with your dad. Your dad was cool.
Yeah. I'll never forget the friggin' raids that we did with him. Especially
a lot of crowns.
No, and it wasn't Crown, it was the Scourge.
Well, he did Crown with us.
I guess he did, but yeah.
I remember him more in Crown.
We had him on reserve sometimes, so like if someone would quit out, he would just come in and like he was actually really good at Crown, which is surprising. But yeah. I don't think he's played the last raid that came out, Garden. I don't think he's done that yet.
No. I mean, if he has, he hasn't done it with us.
Yeah.
Did he at least do the campaign?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have anything else here? No, just.
I mean, unless he wants to go on, kind of talk about like what type of content you make on.
Yeah, sure.
Twitch
share that out.
Because we never actually, I always forget to ask that, because I mean that should be like the main purpose. We always just kind of ask like Destiny related question. And be like, oh yeah, we don't care about your content, but we should probably start at.
We always ask that at the end, because like that's the thing that at the end, me and Sully make up our stuff.
I always forget to like.
But
have that in our like.
But at the top of the hour, we forget to do it. So yeah, pip out your stuff.
Okay. I've used Destiny 2 to kind of expand my skill set and my horizons. I started off in gaming, just kind of doing podcasts and writing. So I got a job. I wouldn't call it a job because it wasn't really paid, but I got a position with an esports startup, and we were trying to gain traction.
I was actually just about to bring that, because I remember we were talking on Twitter, and you were like saying like how you started up like a few of them, haven't you? You said
right. So I would say overall I interviewed like 70 people from all over the globe: Zambia, China, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Canada. I mean, I talked to a whole bunch of people, and that all started from I was working with this company, and we just wanted to find traction. But we didn't have any cash to spend. And I'm like, look, let's just talk to people. Let's just interview them about what they do and who they are. Because everybody's favorite subject is themselves. Yep. Everybody's favorite subject is themselves. They love to talk about themselves. And so my podcast, whatever I've done, whoever I've talked to, is just really based upon the question, would you like to tell me about what you're doing? And then you just ask the right questions, and I try to position myself as I am learning about this person. I'm learning about this subject. I'm learning about this product. And then I try to reference the product in relation to other things, comparison, things like that. I don't do journalism in the sense that I don't call people up and try to get scoops. That's not my style. I'm more of stories, because everyone has a story and they like to tell it. So I've talked to, like I said, so I have this friend in Zambia that I've never met in real life, but she and I have talked multiple times. I sent her one of my shirts. True story. To ship a shirt to Zambia costs $235. So, so I've like I said, I've interviewed probably over 70 people. If I went back and looked at the numbers, I could probably give you an account. But that has really introduced me to a ton of people. Plus, it's shown me the value of being on LinkedIn. And I will always extol the virtues of LinkedIn, especially for gamers and esports in general, because it's an untapped resource. A lot of people around the world want that content, and a lot of people want to talk about gaming because it's such a huge industry, but it's very fragmented. There are.
So are you telling me I should get a LinkedIn, Bill? Is that what you're saying? Yes,
I am absolutely saying you should get a LinkedIn. And
okay. I'll do that after the podcast.
And I mean, yes, it is a more professional version of Facebook, but I can tell you, I've talked to recruiters, I've talked to HR people. They do look at your LinkedIn profile. They look at your accomplishments. They look at how you present yourself. And all of the orgs that I've ever been with, I always say, where are we on LinkedIn? 90% are like, we don't even try. I'm like, that's where the money is.
One of my favorite entrepreneurs, Gary Vaynerchuk, he always talks about LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Really big and stuff. He's like, just so many opportunities.
And there are a ton of opportunities. Their platform is really easy to access, especially with video. You could do native video on LinkedIn from your phone. It's really simple to do. And so I post all my podcasts there. I post all my podcast highlights. I do right now. I'm working on two separate podcasts. One is for I'm the head customer service person, co-founder of this startup that is doing software development. So I'm talking to non-gaming people about their business and what they do. And then I also do my own podcast, not as frequently anymore because I'm busy other things, but I do podcasts with interesting people that I meet in the gaming world. And the last one that I talked to is this caster for Rocket League. Dude is incredibly intelligent. Spaceman. Spaceman is a bright young caster, and we got into a conversation. I said on Twitter, and I said, "Hey, why don't you come on my podcast and we'll talk about all this?" He's like, "You got it." So we talked about what he goes through to prep, how he deals with, he's the face of the event, and he knows the least about the event. But people But people yell at him like he knows everything. He's like, "Hey, look, I got people in my ear telling me what's going on, and they only tell me what I need to know." And so it's funny because I said on that episode, I said, I think everybody in their life should hold a certain number of jobs. One should be like a server. You should work in like some large restaurant at least for 6 months of your life just to understand it.
I'm very fortunate with that. My mom's been a server her entire life, so I know the struggle, all that. So whenever I go out to eat, I tip really well, and I'm always very patient with servers, just because especially when it's rush hour, they have 7-8 other tables, and sometimes it's just I understand. Right. I wouldn't want to do it, so more power to you.
Yeah, and so I told him, I go, people should be a server. People should be a sports official for at least a season. I spent 20 years working fast pitch softball as an umpire. I was as a high school and college basketball referee for 16 years. And so I totally get what that means. And then I said, everybody should be a caster at least 1 or 2 times in their lives. Because it's just, you have to improvise on the fly. You have to think on your feet. You have to have your shtick down. It's a harder job than people think it is. So,
no, agree.
So we just connected that way. And I'm trying to get this other streamer friend of mine. She's really bright and she's really busy, and I wanted to talk to her. So yeah, so that started, and then so I like to focus on the business side of gaming. I don't do guides very well. I I'm trying to get into some more analysis of gameplay loadouts for Destiny 2, but I don't do guides very well for some reason. I don't know. It just, for me, doesn't sit well. But
the biggest thing too, there's just so many people out there that are always doing guides. So like, as great, like because I'm right there with you. I really should start doing guides and stuff, but I need to get on it like right away and just do it. Just because like everybody's doing them. Like they're just so out there. Where loadouts are the same way, but like even just like the interviewing process that you're doing, like you don't really see that too often in the podcasting side. So like that's kind of cool.
Thank you. I do podcasts. I do some writing. I haven't written as much lately, mainly because I have a granddaughter who is 3, and she's not bossy. She has really good. She's not bossy. She has extremely good leadership skills. And so she tells me what she wants when she wants it, and because I'm her grandfather, of course I have to give it to her. What kind of grandfather would I be if I didn't give my granddaughter what she wanted?
Yeah, you can't say no.
Right. So, but I do. Yeah, I focus on the business side. I don't get into drama usually. I mean, like for example, I've said this now for almost 8 months. We have reached peak Twitch. Twitch as a platform has reached its peak. And there are opportunities out there for other platforms. And you know, people are going to say, well, there was Mixer. Okay. The reason Mixer failed had nothing to do with streamers. Nothing to do with streamers. Mixer failed because of its platform and how it was set up. The reason Twitch does so well is that they're backed by Amazon. Amazon is the center of the universe, in case you didn't know. And so they have more money than almost God, and they can do anything they want.
I think Microsoft has more money than Amazon.
But
I don't think so now.
Okay.
I don't know. They might.
But here's the thing.
They're $1 billion company now.
But Microsoft is an enterprise software company. They always have been, and they always will be. They're an enterprise software company. Amazon is a distribution platform. That's all they are. They're a giant warehouse. Amazon doesn't actually make anything. They pay other people to make things.
Listen, but they have Mixer bought a bunch of streamers with huge followings and stuff. Like they tried really hard.
We can go like on this topic for probably a while, but yeah. I think the Ninja purchase, bringing Ninja over, was a smart move, just because I think it opened the eyes of other content creators to realize that they could reach out to other platforms and be successful, because there was that stigma for a while, if you were a live streamer, that you couldn't be successful anywhere else other than Twitch. And I think once Ninja left Twitch to go to Mixer, I think that opened the opportunity for YouTube gaming. Could have been Mixer, and which now Facebook is doing really, really good things over there. So Facebook's doing a lot of good things. But Mixer made some dumb purchases. Mm-hmm. I love Shroud. I mean, Shroud is by far one of the best mouse and keyboard players we've seen, but they should have stepped away and focused with going after community-focused streamers, content creators, and let Twitch dominate the esports industry and allow just whoever's on at that point. Jared FPS was on Mixer, top Fortnite player. Like, allow your own people that are on that platform or doing esports continue to just do whatever. Like, that you weren't going to take the esports community away from Twitch. They weren't going to bring. Because if you went and looked, Goth was a good signing. Because if you went and looked at Goth, Shroud, and Ninja, Goth was doing better in terms of what, like, if you compared numbers from Twitch to Mixer, his numbers were much closer than what Shroud and Ninja were by a mile. So if they would have went focused on getting more people like a King Gathalion, I think those moves might have made sense.
Right. And that being said, I think you should check out a platform called Caffeine. So Caffeine came along about the same time as Mixer did, but Caffeine made the smart move and they branded themselves as a community platform. They didn't brand themselves as a gaming platform, and they started doing community things. I don't follow them as much as I used to, but they used to hold live rap battles and live dance battles. Holy crap! That is some great content, because there are definite communities there that love that stuff, that would love to connect people East Coast, West Coast, Canada, down south in Mexico, South America, that area of the world. There are so many communities that don't have anything to do with gaming, but they want to connect with each other and they want to see what's going on. And Caffeine has done that.
Yeah, I've heard of Caffeine a few times. I think aren't they like more strongly like in terms of like mobile users? I want to say.
No, the platform that is focused on mobile gaming is Trovo.
Well, no, I'm just talking like I think didn't like Caffeine start like as a mobile app, and then I think their focus they got like a website and stuff. I want to think that's on how they started.
Yeah. Yep.
So. All right, before we get too far off topic, because I can talk about this for an hour.
Yeah. An hour. Yes, we can.
Yeah.
We'll get back onto some Destiny topics. So what's everyone been up to at Destiny? Because to be honest, I really haven't been up to a whole lot other than just Crucible. I don't know, Kane, if you've really been doing anything. Bill,
this past week I just log in and do my Bright Dust, and then that's it.
We did Niobe Labs, so we did attempt that.
We did. We almost got there, man. We were really close.
Yeah.
That last wave, we just need to find out how to complete that fast enough to put in the code. But yeah, we're really close. I don't know if we're going to try it again this weekend. Probably not. I don't think we're interested.
I'll get a hold of Jay. I mean, unless you don't want to attempt it this weekend. I mean, because I'm cool either way. Like on Sunday, like if we want to go for it, we can. If not,
I need to get back to Evil Within 2 and try and finish that this weekend.
We'll try next weekend then, since we even really talked about it. So
yeah,
Bill?
I've been playing a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, Bill, what have you been up to?
I've been working on catalysts. I finished Crimson, Sturm, Jade Rabbit, Graviton Lance.
Nice.
I also completed all of the sleeper nodes on Mars. Did that today.
I hate you. I hate you. I need to log on and I need to do that.
But I finally got that done. Made a video, posted it on Twitter. I've been working on a catalyst. I've also I made a video about using Sturm and Drang, and there's some really wild DPS going on there. I mean, yes,
and
good
news is Drang is actually coming forward, so like that at least makes Sturm usable. I don't know if you're going to want to use it with some of the other maybe options that we might have, but who knows?
With the changes to hand cannons.
Right, I was going to say, so all 110s are now 120s. Combine that with the fact that you can use the Charge with Light mods on your sidearm. Combine that with the fact that you can overload Sturm with those powered rounds. I once got it up to 28 Sturm rounds. So basically you have 28 supercharged Sturm rounds. And the video that I made that will come out Sunday, I show the difference in the DPS. So on a yellow bar ogre from range, a regular Sturm round does about 3,200. If you have an overcharge round, you get an 8,000 point bonus. You're doing almost 12,000 per shot.
It's like more than a sniper.
Yes, that is sick. Jesus. It is absolutely sick. So combine the fact that Sturm, Drang has Rampage. You can use the Charge with Light mods on your sidearm. Sturm and Drang are going to be super. super OP. Just saying. So, but I finally finished Jade Rabbit. That hurt my head. I finished Rat King, which is awesome because now because now when I get a kill and reload, not only do I go invisible, but I get healed as well. So yes, I've been Crimson, Rat King, Sturm, Jade Rabbit, a Graviton Lance. So I've done 5 so far. I'm working on Colony Catalyst, also Wardcliff Catalyst. So
okay.
Yeah. There you go.
You're busy. You doing anything to like prep for Beyond Light, or are you just kind of gonna go in there fresh?
Aside from the fact that I have almost 10,000 gunsmith materials. I got like 5,000 Vanguard tokens. I got about 700 Crucible tokens. I mean, that, and with, you got Mars going away, Io, Titan, and Mercury. So we're basically going to lose those 4 sources of planetary materials. I carry about 60 to 70 enhancement cores at any given time. What I might do is I might go through my vault and all the old armor that I've like saved but never used. I might dump that. And so I'll probably go into Beyond Light with about 80 cores. I'll make sure that I have my full 25 full 25 stack of the upgrade modules ready to go.
I have 26.
Huh?
I have 26 upgrade modules.
There you go.
You have one in your
I broke the system.
You broke the system?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah. You're always breaking shit. This is why we can't have nice things. There's gonna be an update in TWAB.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Upgrade modules are gonna be brought down to like 15. Because there's some bug that allows some Guardians to have 26.
Right. But as far as prep, I mean, I think Bungie is fundamentally adjusting how everything is done in Beyond Light. They just haven't said it yet. I think they're going to change the bounty system. I think they're going to change the way the whole planetary material system. Wouldn't surprise me if instead of 250,000 limit on Glimmer, that went up as well. Because when they launched Shadowkeep, the Glimmer cap was
100,000.
Was 100,000, and I was hitting 100,000 consistently all the time. Well, now at 250,000, it takes me longer, but I'm still hitting 250,000 pretty consistently.
Hey, Sully, remember the Glimmer cap in Destiny 1? Do you remember it?
No, I don't.
It's like it was like 9,999.
Really?
It wasn't even 10,000.
Wow.
I don't remember that.
And now we have a cap of like 250K.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man.
Nice.
So I mean, I remember the vault space in D1 on day 1 was. Trust me, boys, 500's real nice than what we used to have. It was like maybe like 30 spots or something like that. It was it was bad. But like everybody was like new. Like the one thing I like, if you go back and like listen to like a lot of our previous podcasts, and like I'm always just really just beating the drum on this, is like they need to make exotics feel exotic again. And what I mean by that is like I just feel like exotics are just too easy to come by now. Like they always are just kind of dropping. You have so many exotic quest lines. And I'm not saying don't get completely rid of exotic quest lines. I really do enjoy. I'm hoping we get a exotic like mission with Beyond Light, like similar to like Whisper.
For Gallahorn, right?
Yeah, for Gallahorn.
Mm-hmm.
But back in D1, like exotics were like tough to come by. Like I remember like week 2 when Xur was selling Gallowhorn, and obviously game was very new, and like how we bought things from Xur was from strange coins, and everybody's just like, we're all like holding on to our strange coins, and we're all thinking, we're not gonna use a rocket launcher.
We're not gonna use an exotic in our heavy slot.
Yeah, like that's just no. We're gonna probably use it as like in our primary, or maybe our special, something that we could consistently use at all times. And let me tell you what, we all look stupid then.
Yeah.
The people that bought Gallowhorn, I don't even remember why I didn't buy Gallo. I don't know if I didn't have enough strange coins at the time, but yeah, I didn't buy it. But luckily, I got my Gallowhorn sooner than others. So,
well, and I think that I mean, for me, getting exotics was more of a quest thing. I actually thought it was harder to get Recluse and Revoker than getting these other ones. I mean, and everyone has their story of they go in last wish, and they this is their 38th time and they don't have 1K, and some moron that comes along, oh, I've never raided before, let me come along, and they get 1K, and you're like, you're never raiding with me ever again. Get out of my fire team. There's always that story. But I mean, it's really interesting to me that there are certain legendaries like Mountaintop, like Revoker, that are honestly harder to get than certain exotics. I think that I don't think Bungie is going to shift how you get exotics, because it's a really nice way to keep newer players involved. That said, they're going to gate some of the older stuff. Earlier this season, I set out to get Sleeper.
Yeah.
So I got Sleeper, and then the worst part was getting the frickin' Catalyst done. Oh my gosh, yeah. That hurt my head.
I don't even have the Catalyst, so
that just hurt my head to finish that Catalyst. But I did it because whether or not you agree with Bungie doing this, the fact that they are pulling these planets, pulling these destinations, makes sense, because now they have created an urgency of the whole fear of missing out thing. So when they reintroduce IO later with a bunch of new content, you're going to have the ability to do things on IO. You're going to have, maybe they're going to time gate Whisper again. I don't know. But what Bungie's doing with these planets is, you have to remember, this game is old. From a software development standpoint, Destiny 2 is an old game. Mm-hmm. So what they're doing is they're taking these planets out. They're going to refactor the code, and then they're going to reintroduce them, because they want to make their code base current, so that way they can add things faster. And everyone thinks that Bungie doesn't know what they're doing. Well, keep in mind that the event that we all stood in the tower for an hour and a half to watch the Almighty crash down to Earth, that took 400 days to do.
Yeah,
that is something that has never happened before. That was a live event that was not originally planned as far as their software development. So they didn't write the code for it. So they didn't write the code for it 6 months or like 2 years before they were going to do it. They literally wrote it in real time and then inserted it into the game. For people that aren't software developers, doing that is a big deal. You don't understand what it takes for a software development company to shift how they work on the fly. Nobody gets that. Very few people understand. That's what I think is the source of a lot of people's frustration right now, is that they don't understand what is going on with the game. They think they're just like, make the game better. And And that's all they say, like, fix your game, Bungie. And they're like, we are, but we don't have time to explain it to people that don't want to listen. So,
well, yeah, that's one of the things, like, working with Kane, like, we both have had kind of like an understanding that we both don't really know what we're doing, like, in terms of, like, game development.
Right.
So we're not, like, super, like, critical. We might be, like, a little bit more critical on, like, in terms of, like, their Q&A, because, like, there are, like, just a lot of just kind of, like, dumb bugs that shouldn't be in the game. I'm not even talking, like, I'm talking, like, Iron Banner bugs when it was saying get kills with, that's something that shouldn't be in the game. Like, something like that shouldn't be in the game. Obviously other things. But yeah, like, that live event was, like, actually really cool. Like, yes, it took a lot longer than what we all expected it to be, but yes, like, in terms of, like, doing that, like, I think you kind of have to look, like, as a, we're gonna kind of segue into this next topic here, but, like, as a gamer of Beyond Light, like, our Destiny, like, it's definitely, like, kind of like a step forward on what we're gonna see in the future, because like, it was their first time ever doing that. So what does that mean? The next time around, they're gonna have more experience with it. So, like, we're just gonna be they're gonna be better with it. Yeah, that's what I was talking about with the leak, by the way.
Right. Got it.
So
perfect. Well, so for me, as far as Beyond Light, I think what you need to do is you need to look back at what happened right before Shadowkeep dropped. We had that, like, 2-week event where Bungie said, okay, we want you to run Escalation Protocol. We want you to get so many kills and so many events in a certain period of time. And if you do it, you get stuff at the end. And the whole community, like, responded like that. The next step to that was the following season where you had the on-demand public events of the Seraph Towers. Now, we can argue all day about how the Seraph Towers worked and didn't work. Okay, that's not the point, though. The point is the Seraph Towers started off a certain way. Halfway through the season, they evolved because people started to figure out how they worked, and Bungie shifted it. Okay, so it went from, let's see what people do in this large-scale public event that is Escalation Protocol. Oh, that actually worked out pretty good. People liked it. Now, let's make another on-demand public event on multiple planets that you have to have coordination for, that you can't talk to your fire team about. I mean, you could have 9 people in the instance, and you could talk to, at most, 2 other people. So you had to coordinate with people in real time without speaking to them. Exactly. And so now I think what you're getting into is they're going to take that concept and take it to the next level. Whether that's in the raid where you have 2 locations and you have to coordinate certain things with 2 locations. I mean, it's bad.
I mean, they did kind of do that with VOG a little bit when people did get teleported. So I would love to see them bring something like that back.
If you do the Riven fight properly, that's how that
goes. I was about to say, I've never done Riven, so, like, legit, because everybody's like, hey, I like cheese, let's just cheese it.
Right.
So, and why not?
In I believe Garden of Salvation, where you go from the main platforms and you go to those different spots.
Yeah.
You know, it's possible to cheese that to get the challenge done. You kill all the ads, grab all the modes, and then if you jump up high enough from the highest point, all the ads respawn. So
the biggest thing with the VOG one, you used to be able to, where you could cheese it to where you could, like, coordinate on who would go, but that was a bug, so they fixed it.
Okay.
So when VOG, which I'm so happy that you and Kane, because Kane's never done VOG either, will be able to get to experience at a beautiful 60 FPS plus, depending on what type of rig you have, in season 14, I believe, because next season's 13.
Yes. Correct? Yep. Exactly.
Season 14, you guys will be able to get to experience VOG. It would randomly pull you, so you could never coordinate. So, like, it would just take the just three random people. So like it kind of made things chaotic and kind of fun. Where like at least Garden of Salvation, like you were able to kind of like coordinate on who's going, who's staying, who's doing what. So,
yep, I agree. Well, and I think that what's going on with the stasis concept is going to be really interesting too. I think the platforming possibilities are going to be really awesome. So for all those people who like platforming and getting outside the map and doing all sorts of fun stuff, that'll be interesting. I see what they're doing with it to a point, because if you play Valorant, I don't know which character it is, but one character has this ice wall that kind of rises up from the ground. I don't know the character's name.
From Overwatch.
Mia.
Okay, it's Maya.
Maya.
Right. So they're doing that sort of so being able to. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with some of the older locations now that you can platform certain ways that you haven't been able to in the past. So
yeah, no, and I agree. I think there's going to be on Europa, there's going to be a lot of just kind of like cool little secret areas that may not like necessarily like be like huge pieces of content, fine,
right?
But I think we'll have like really cool lore and like backstory and like just like random like potential things that Bungie could do. So
yep, I agree.
But anyways, let's get into this next topic because we're actually having a fairly long podcast.
Uh-oh.
Which I mean I'm fine with. I don't know about you two. I'm sure Kane's probably tired. And Bill, are you free still?
Yes, I'm good. Let's go.
All right, so then this will kind of go into the story trailers. I don't know if you guys actually watched those. There was one, just the overall story that's going to be happening with Beyond Light. They have Aramis, and with the Aramis, Varix, and Exo Stranger. I thought they did a really good job of like actually putting the lore, at least a piece of lore, into the trailer. Because that's always been kind of like one of my like complaints with Destiny is on a lot of people don't know really where to go and like find all the lore. Like a lot of people don't really want to be like, okay, let me just sit down and watch this Bife video or just let me Google search. So I really do like the fact that we saw lore in these trailers, and hopefully like Bungie is starting to kind of like put the lore into the story so people understand what's actually truly going on with the story in Destiny, because it's a crazy one. So I don't know if you guys have watched those trailers, but if you want to make any opinions or thoughts on
them. Kane. Go ahead, Kane.
I don't know what you said, Sully. I completely spaced out.
I was just talking about how they actually put the lore.
Oh, okay. You didn't say anything specific, right?
No,
okay.
I just kind of talked about
the trailer. The way the trailer went was that it's Varix talking, and he's saying something about around the lines of like I can't follow Aramis down this path, and he's calling out to the Guardian for help. Or well, no, it wasn't the Guardian; it was the Exo Stranger, wasn't it?
Right.
I think he was just maybe calling out for help.
Yeah, but the Exo Stranger. The Exo Stranger showed up. Yeah. Which is weird, because then she's going to be the liaison with us and Varix. Then.
Correct.
That's how that's going to go down. Yeah. This is going to be really interesting to see how this story starts off.
Yes, especially just having the Exo Stranger back after so long. Like, it's been forever since we've seen the Exo Stranger, and then kind of like maybe find out a little bit about why she didn't have time to explain, and like maybe where she's been. He also talks about on how basically like, I'm assuming in the trailer he's probably talking about Aramis on how he doesn't like how the darkness powers is changing her, or at that point I guess her army. But he could assumably be talking about the Guardian, but I don't think so.
I don't think so. And also, it's got the same vibe that the Barons had, where there's like all those sub bosses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like that Mega Man feeling to it.
There you go.
Where you have all the bosses you have to defeat the big boss at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
See,
I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
Yeah.
I like that.
See, I think there's gonna be some surprises. I think the fact that we pretty much know that Uldren is gonna be the new Hunter Vanguard, and so that will create a rift between a lot of people who want to move forward and those who are like, he killed Cade. I think that. So I think what they're doing is they're taking elements from D1, and like I said, I never played D1, but they're taking elements from D1 and they're bringing them forward and advancing the story. They're giving the veterans something to grab onto, and they're giving the new people the incentive to pay attention. So what they're basically doing is they're bringing everyone together, and so people like myself will go to my friends who play D1 and go, okay, what the hell is he talking about? This is obviously important. And then, so my friends who are hardcore D1 go, okay, well, in D1, this is what happened. Like, oh, now I get it. Because, honestly, part of me wants to invest in an old Xbox and get an old copy of Destiny and just play through it a couple times just so I have some more context, because there's a lot of nuance that I don't have any idea of. So
yeah, and kind of going back on when you mentioned Uldren, and everybody I think assuming that Uldren is going to be the next Hunter Vanguard, love it or hate it, opens up potential for great character development in Destiny, which they have really struggled at times.
Yes.
And that would definitely open up a pathway that they need to work on. I mean, because I go and I talk about Forsaken being by far my favorite campaign, just because of like they did something that realistically we never thought they would do, and that we would see one of our Hunter Vanguards, or not Hunter Vanguards, but our Hunter Vanguard, but just one of the Vanguards in general, be killed off. And they took, probably, even if you weren't a Hunter main, you really liked Cade, and to see them kind of kill them off was just such a surprise. But,
so, that being said, remember Bungie said that Saint 14 at some point is going away, right? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I bet at some point in Beyond Light, I don't have any sources on this, I'm just kind of throwing this out there, Saint 14 dies and goes back into the timeline, and so I think that will be like the next sort of catalyst, because honestly, losing Cade, I mean, that first mission and Forsaken, losing Cade was like, what the hell? How did that happen? And then that sort of motivates you through the whole story. What if they do a similar concept with that when it comes to Saint 14?
I mean, they could. I don't know if Saint 14 has necessarily like the kind of like love like Cade did, just because, I mean, I guess everybody was just closer to Cade just through like the whole D1 time. I understand what you're saying.
Right.
I don't know if we'll see him go. I mean, unless they find somebody else to take trials, which they could easily do, and just be like, here, this person, you're gonna be the trials person now, which they could do. But yeah, I think honestly, like, if they're gonna, I think the next person, if they were gonna maybe kind of kill off, and it's already been kind of like written into the thing, it would be Shax.
I agree, because of that. Well, there's some lore that came out about 2 months ago about how Shax was singing he sang the song to what was it, Saint and Osiris, when we got Devil's
Ruin.
Ruin, and then Eris said that song is from Savathun.
Yeah. So I mean, that might be farther down the road when it comes closer to that next expansion, but I could see him being the next person they kill off. But I'm hoping with Aldrin coming back, is we kind of start to see some really good character development from Bungie start to take place with even like there's so many other like NPCs in the game that like I don't think we're seeing like Ikora. Like Ikora hasn't done anything for like
3 seasons.
Yeah.
She's like sat there. I'm like, Ikora, talk to me. Please talk to me. Talk to me. Please.
Amanda Holiday.
Right.
You know, not necessarily like somebody that's like super fan, but like still a lot of potential there.
Right.
Luckily we're seeing the Drifter with this next expansion, because I think that's just another like kind of like not a Gambit fan, but I think he has a fantastic like I wouldn't say he's a fantastic personality, but like he has a lot of potential to be like a great involvement into like the story. So I'm hoping Beyond Light will definitely bring better character development from here on out. I don't know what Kane, what you want to see Beyond Light bring. Same thing with you, Bill.
Kane, go ahead. Kane, go ahead.
I don't know, Saul. You said it all, man. Like the character development stuff. Like we've talked about this for months, weeks on the show.
Probably months.
Months.
Let's be honest.
Right.
But we've talked about this for a long time now, and they might do a pretty good job at the beginning, but it's Bungie fashion to not pay off anything. So I honestly don't have my hopes up or anything for that, but I do think they're gonna escalate the story at least.
Okay.
Well, honestly, I would hope 2 things from Beyond Light. 1, it is time for Zavala to go. His character is dry. His character.
Oh, Bill, have you heard about our theory of what's going to happen to Zavala?
No, go ahead. Tell me.
So we've talked about this before, but essentially Savathun is going to get her like hooks into Zavala and have him either betray the Vanguard or he'll lose his mind in some fashion because of the lore pieces that have come out where she is looking at him and like she's investigating him basically, like trying to like track his movements and stuff. So there's going to be something interesting that happens with Zavala for sure, but we don't know what.
That being said, I have written a piece of fan fiction that I'm having artists draw images for that goes into that a little deeper. But in my story, Zavala becomes the speaker. So.
Oh.
he and Saint 14 have this massive fight over the fact that Zavala doesn't want Aldrin as the new Hunter Vanguard. And Saint's like, look, we got to get over ourselves here. We got to move forward. And Zavala's like, nope, not going to happen. Saint and Zavala fight.
Also, sorry. But, like...
No.
I don't know if you remember, but they, like, made a lot of references to WoW in the past, like, over this past year. What's his name? The guy that says you're not prepared? Can't remember. Right? Illidan. So they made like references to Illidan. He's like a fallen character trope, where he one of the best first people. He ended up turning into a bad guy. I think that like they might do something similar with Zavala, and I'm thinking that the Vanguard are gonna fall away to like the wayside. Like they're already broken up pretty much. Like,
right, and so
nothing going on there.
Yeah, so like I said, I think Zavala's got to go. His character is dry, hasn't really evolved very much. You would think there would be different interactions with him, especially after he's resisted partnering with Sputin for so long, and then he's like, oh, okay, I get it now. So, but then there's some, and maybe it's me not paying attention very well, but the fact that Rasputin killed Fellwinter and the fact that we didn't hear anything technically from Zavala about that is just as far as I'm concerned, as amazing. But he's got to go, and they got to do something with Ikora. She is my favorite character in the game. And the past 3 seasons, she's like done one thing at the beginning, and then she just stands there, and I'm like, Ikora, I need something from you. I need more of just. I have that. She doesn't have anything to give you at this time. Because I don't know, she's always been a very calming voice, whether it's the Red War or a Forsaken, or so the last time she was even remotely involved with anything was the Vex Offensive. So
yeah, season of the day.
Yep.
Other than that, she's been pretty much. They haven't done anything with her.
Right.
Everything's been like Zavala.
Yep.
Which is a shame. And they may obviously like.
She's too busy. She's too busy doing Westworld stuff.
I guess she does do that, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's not necessarily like. I could see them maybe trying to like revoice her.
Like they did with Anna.
If they're having issues, huh?
Like what they did with Anna.
Yeah, same thing with Nolan North taking over Peter Dinklage. Just because, like, if they want to do dialogue, and like, which I'm not opposed to, like, as much as like, I understand like certain like, a lot of people really like Dinklepop, blah blah blah. But like, if you can't get that person to like come in and do like consistently, like
that was the early criticism of Destiny, is that they had all these like stars doing their voices, and then like they couldn't get them to come in to do other voices or anything because their either price was too expensive or scheduling issues or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, and like then it's kind of like, hey, like if you can't like work with us, like, and I'm not saying like the person should only be focusing only Ikora role, like they have a career and other opportunities to do, like go for it. But like if they can't do it, and like you have to bring somebody in to like do like a voice acting, like do it. Just try to make it as like close as possible. Like don't make it like completely different. So
yeah. Well, the actress who voices Ikora, she does a lot of stuff. She's in Bones. She's in the Matrix. I think it was 2 or 3.
Yeah,
both of those probably. So yeah, she. It wouldn't surprise me if they brought in somebody else. Yeah.
So we could probably see that, I guess, with Beyond Light.
Yep.
With also Beyond Light coming, what do we want to see it as in terms of like, because we're all content creators here, and there's definitely, you can view a game in 2 different ways. You can view it as just in terms of a gamer, and view it in terms of like a content creator. What are you guys hoping as a content creator to get out of Beyond Light? Like, I don't know, like, for me, I'll give an example. I'm really hoping that we kind of actually receive a raid that not really introduced, but has an exotic weapon tied to it that isn't questline, that gives me a reason to constantly keep going in there and doing Sherpas with people instead of just going in there for pinnacles.
I would like to see them introduce not the guided gaming or system or anything, but like have a Sherpa system, something that you can show off on your emblem, like how many Sherpas you've done, because they have that on Raid Report, and they can easily do it.
Okay.
They easily keep track of that.
Yeah,
and
they
show that number.
That.
Yeah. But yeah, something like that would be really cool, I think.
Okay.
So I think from a content creator standpoint, I'd like the ability to do a couple of things without having to bug the game. I'd like the ability to like the ability to have the HUD taken out so that I can do certain things with my Guardian. And something else that I'd also like is the ability to go third person in and non PvP situations. So like if you're trying to explain something or give some perspective on guides, or you're trying to teach somebody something through a video, so the ability to go third person without having to do an emote or draw a sword, just have that camera move back and be able to adjust it. You know,
like a photo mode kind of.
Yes, yeah.
Similar.
So I certainly hope that they would do that, because there are some really higher end creators that could use that, take advantage of that. I have a friend, I don't know if you know her, a friend. The person who is in charge of the clan that I'm in Misa Cole, she's been trying for a while to get sort of like a Destiny 2 fan movie made, and grabbing the footage from the game is really hard to do. It's really, really hard to do. There's a way to do it, but you have to bug the game to do it. And I'd like the ability to do the stuff that I want to do in sort of like a cinematic mode without having to bug the game.
No, I agree. I think a lot of people would really dig that. We'll try to speed this up a little bit. You want to get into the TWAB, or
you can?
Okay. So as far as the TWAB for me came down to three things. One, all the hand cannons are going to be 120s or 140s, except for one hand cannon. Sunshot's going to be a 150. They're going to take the ARs. They're going to take the DPS down slightly, which I don't think is that big of a deal anyway. But then they're going to take a guillotine, and they're going to nerf the heavy attack. And
yeah, so basically what he's saying, so basically all the 110 hand cannons are going to be moved to a 120. So this will kind of help with damage fall off the range. Now starts at 32 meters. So then going back to the 150s, the only 150 hand cannon that will be active in Destiny 2 will be Sunshot. All 150s are going to go to 140s. I think the move on why they're trying to maybe do this is maybe to help with balancing. This definitely does hurt the hand cannon community, I think, a little bit, but again, once we actually kind of maybe get our hands with it and we are able to play, maybe we kind of like see why, and maybe it's not as bad of a nerf as we all think. We also got some information on scout rifles, and we're not really getting a whole lot. They're just basically increased how much aim assists are on scouts, which I thought was kind of odd. That was the only thing we're gonna see. Sniper rifles, we also have. They want to have sniper rifles to feel powerful without being so easy to use. They dominate. So what they're doing is they're adjusting how aim assist is affected by sniper rifle zoom level. So lower zoom scopes have less aim assist going into Beyond Light, and higher zoom scopes will have now more aim assist. Scopes with around 50 zoom are unchanged, so low zoom scopes have a large reduction to aim assist, and then high zooms will have a small increase to aim assist, which I'm not really for sure on how much this really affects mouse and keyboard. I think this could affect more controller based, but I think it'll have a little bit of impact with PC. We also, as Bill mentioned, we are going to be seeing the 600s, which were given a buff, will be getting a slight nerf. So the 600s will be going from a damage per bullet of 15.75, and they are going to be reduced to 14.25. Then they have in here, note, prior to Season of the Worthy, damage per bullet was 13.75, so it's still higher than what it was before this season started. So just a slight reduction there. And honestly, I think this was kind of like the biggest thing that I really took away out of this, and hopefully we kind of see rocket launchers. They receive some love.
Yes.
So they're going to increase reserves by 1 or 2 rockets depending on the inventory stat.
Oh my god. It's such a big change.
Right?
So that being said, keep in mind that the rocket launcher from Trials, Tomorrow's Answer, so that rolls with a clown cartridge. So when you reload Tomorrow's Answer, it normally holds 1 in the chamber. It holds 2. So if you're gonna increase that by 1 or 2, you could have Tomorrow's Answer at having 3 or even 4 in the chamber. So
yeah, that could be huge.
Yep.
So
this is just reserves though, it's not the chamber.
Yeah, but it's something. Rocket launchers have, that's probably the most love they've received in what, 2 years?
Yeah, long time.
Like
since Forsaken.
Yeah, like I don't know why they haven't really. I don't know if they're just scared. I don't know with rocket launchers. So now we're gonna get some updates on perks. So Outlaw, which is a reload speed. Outlaw, the reload speed increase felt insignificant with certain subfamilies and combinations of rolls. So hand cannon. So they're gonna increase reload stat bonus from 50 to 70.
Yay! I think that's a good change.
Merciless will have increased inventory stat from 36 to 55. This increases reserve ammo. And this was the big thing I had going into Beyond Light, as we all talk about on how weapons are becoming sunset. My biggest concern still was on going into PvP, just in general, just quick play, or if you're a comp player, that this weapon still is going to be around, and that was Mountaintop. Mountaintop's receiving a pretty big nerf. So they're going to reduce splash damage by 33%. They are going to reduce the velocity multiplier from 1.4 to 1.2. So that is now 20% faster than other grenade launchers instead of 40. And then they are reducing in-air accuracy with rocket launcher, which is around 7 degrees without Icarus grip mod.
Time to pour one out for my my homie here, Mountaintop.
Mountaintop, yeah, that is your most used weapon. And then, as Bill talked about, Guillotine is receiving a 24% damage reduction, which I know a lot of people are kind of upset about this, but I feel like I saw a lot of Gambit people were really happy about this. So I don't know. I was just kind of like, whatever. Like, it's still gonna probably be good, but not as good. And who knows what else we have new. And then basically there's a few things with Sturm and Drang. Both of those, Drang and Mida Mini Tool, they will both be moving forward. You can get both those weapons from the gunsmith starting on November 10th with no infusion cap. For Mida Mini Tool, they're adding hip fire grip and then kill clip to it. And then for Drang, they're using Jesus, I can't remember this cough. That is also being moved once again to the gunsmith November 10th with no fusion cap. Where am I at now? And then that will be receiving moving target. Rootless Effigy is out of nowhere. I thought this was probably one of the weirdest weapons to kind of receive a nerf.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Is receiving the melee attack is being reduced by 25%.
Aerial melee attack.
Oh, aerial,
which is
melee
even weirder.
Attack is being like. So I remember seeing Cool Guy on Twitter. He even mentioned, he was like, that was kind of out of nowhere. So he was like speculating maybe like somehow Ruinous Effigy like somehow broke the new raid, and they had to nerf it. But that was completely out of left field. And then Arbalest will no longer strike shields multiple times. But it's still efficient against shielded targets. Has been increased. And then Jade Rabbit is armor piercing rounds is being swapped to high caliber rounds, and this will fix the issue that could prevent the exotic perk from triggering. So like, I guess it's kind of a nerf and a buff at the same time.
Right.
And then, honestly, something that wasn't, I don't think, talked about a whole lot by the Destiny 2 community, maybe because it's Trials. But Trials will be receiving adept weapons when Beyond Light drops. And the shader for these adept weapons look really nice. Black and yellow.
Is that a shader?
And then...
I thought that's just the way the weapons look.
No, I think that's what the adept ones will look like. I don't know what the current ones look like, actually.
They look like this.
I don't have a weapon, so... Oh, really? Yeah, I don't have a weapon. I've played Trials, I think, twice. And then you will also be getting a chance of, with the adept weapons, they will be getting flawless mods for when you go flawless, which will help you give a plus to primary stat as usual, and then you'll get a +3 for alternate stats. So pretty big changing when it comes to being masterwork for adept weapons. So I'd be interested in see on what. I'm actually interested to play Trials now and try to go flawless and try to get somebody to carry me and try to get a adept weapon. But
it is unique to know that you cannot get the shader from dismantling the weapons. Like, right. It has to be on the weapon itself, which kind of sucks.
Yep.
I think they kind of did that so that people just wouldn't have it and just put it on all their stuff. But I don't think what else, because we're already kind of running fairly long. Twitch Prime, it's back as usual.
Yeah, there's some new stuff there. You can go check that out.
Yeah. Once again, once November 10th hits, Shadow, Reckoner, Blacksmith, Wayfarer, Chronicler, and Forerunner will no longer be available to get.
The only one I don't have is Reckoner. I have all the others.
My question is, if they would happen to bring back one of the raids, would that then allow that seal to be gained again?
Why?
I mean, I don't know. Why not?
I don't know.
So, well, that is it for the TWAB.
So on that point of things going away in general, I mean, I don't know. I think that there is something to be said for the game evolving. There's something to be said for people people like yourself, Sully, when it comes to Gallahorn. So, like I said, I didn't play D1, but it was really obvious from what everyone was saying when the new swords came out. Like for example, Temptation's Hook, everyone said a Voltcaster. Okay, and then when Falling Guillotine came out, everybody from D1 was saying, this is a Dark Drinker. So I don't think that you're going to see a new weapon called Gallahorn, or I don't think you're going to see a new seal called Shadow. But I think what you're going to see is like the next evolution of that, and it's perfectly fine that everybody who's playing the game right now does not have access to everything in the past. That's perfectly okay. That's just part of growth. That's just part of life. So,
no, I mean that's fine. They've never really clarified on if, because obviously we know why you can't get Blacksmith and Shadow, because both of those raids are going to be gone. But if they would come back, they actually never clarified if you could get them. And Reckoner's going away is because they're taking away Reckoner.
Yeah. They also say here in the footnote that they're not wiping bounties, so you can go ahead and stock up on bounties.
Not all bounties.
Yeah, just the ones that don't expire from the season. Yeah. So you're safe.
Yep.
And then we have 2 more TWABs left until Beyond Light is finally here. And then go from there, I guess.
Yep. Oh, excuse me.
All right, Sully, take us out.
You want me to take us out?
Yeah, you've been leading this whole time. I've been letting you lead.
This is about to be horrible. So Bill, we'll start with you. Where can all these wonderful guardians find you?
They can find me on Twitter at @LearningBill, twitch.tv/BillTheConquerer. It's spelled ERER, not EROR. I spelled it wrong on purpose. And I just want to announce real quick. I will be hosting a competitive 3v3 PvP event on November the 7th to coordinate with the launch of my fan fiction book. I've gotten some really good artists to do the cover, a bunch of images on the inside. I got somebody who formats and edits books professionally to help me with everything on the inside and the content. So I'll be personally sponsoring that event on November 7th. I have coordinated with the people at D2 esports. So at D2 esports on Twitter, talk to them. You'll see the link on their page. So that is also coming up.
All right, and then our wonderful host, Kane, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Kane Play Stuff. Also on Twitch, it's Kane Play Stuff. We stream the Charshot Gamescast Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Also, visit charshot.com for audio, video, and written content. We also host a wrestling podcast where me and Ben watch a wrestling show and talk over it.
What's the choices?
So I believe Royal Rumble 2000 is winning, or has won already. And that's because of the Mankind versus Triple H feud. We wanted to see more of that.
Oh yeah!
So.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Oh yeah! That was a lot of fun.
That was good stuff, man. That was good stuff.
Yeah. And then you can email me, thomas@charshot.com, if you want to be a guest on one of our shows. And yeah, that's it. Leave us a review on iTunes. I have a giveaway going on right now, so you can check that out on my pinned tweet. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can enter. I have random Steam games from the years that I have from buying Humble Bundles, so I figured I might as well use them somehow. And so...
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah. And then that's it.
All right, and then you can find myself. You can find myself on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook at Sully__games. I am also running a giveaway. I'm actually giving away 4 copies of Beyond Light to any platform.
Damn.
4 copies?
I will.
Wow. Okay.
4 copies.
Wow.
Been pretty fortunate with work. So there is a link in Discord. I have a link set up on my Twitter, and I will be. You can probably drop a link on the podcast below on YouTube, correct?
Yeah.
For both. We'll do both giveaways there.
Nice.
And then I think that's it. That's it for me. So, actually, I don't know how to end this, so, Kane.
Until then, Guardians, eyes down.